Greetings and salutations. Welcome to episode 82 of Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. Joining me today, it's Trevor.
What up?
How's it going, man? No stoner
good.
today.
No stoner today.
That part we're not good with, right? We're feeling for our man. He's just out right now. He will be in the chat. So if you're interacting with Ref the District in the chat today, he is there. Of course, we stream this live every Wednesday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 7:30. We appreciate everyone who takes out the time and jumps in with us here. Of course, you can also catch us on your favorite audio platforms afterwards. I'll be in charge of cutting that up. Normally, Stoner takes care of that, but that'll be my job. I'll try to do what I can. He's already scolded me for my YouTube ability. So we'll have to see if I can make Dad proud for how I cut it up and put it out on Buzzsprout. So we are, of course, sponsored by Pacers Running for every run. More on that later, and not up here, but we are sponsored by Skybar. I'll have to fix our 2-block here.
That's cool.
Skybar down in Lexington. Catch our man Trev Person. He's the owner and bartender there. You can get some good stuff. Mention Ref the District there. We are working on, I think, some cups is what we're trying to get down to the Sky Bar. So more on that later. We'll see if we can even distribute those for others. Nothing this fancy. The drink is empty today, but maybe later. We'll see. We do have a partnership with DC Sports King, but you didn't come here for that. You came here. Of course, let me clarify. You do want to go to dcsportsking.com to create good content, and we have a partnership with them. But you are here today for Ref the District, and we've got a great episode for you. In the cool down, we'll be talking about Terry McLaurin being snubbed in the NFL Top 100. There's only one player, Jonathan Allen, well-deserved, probably not low enough in my opinion, but we'll get to that in the cool down, and Terry McLaurin not being on the Top 100 list. For the game, we'll be talking about the preseason game 2, what we expect from it against the Kansas City Chiefs. How long do you want the starters to play? What do you want to see from there? Is Gibson going to be with the second team? There is a bit of a change in regard. All that's coming up in the game. And then we're going to be warming up with the Commanders cut to 85. There was a couple of cuts that ran deep for the two of us, Trav.
Yeah, I know.
We got hit there. We're going to give a shout out to our people in the chat already. We got Doug, we got EP, Grayson, Shady, Metaphor. Welcome back to the chat here. But your man, it's no longer Trap Key season, Trap. It is over.
It is over. Four great years of Trap Key season.
Yeah, the last white cornerback in the NFL.
I mean, it is what it is. He didn't participate much in camp, which after that came out yesterday or day before, it made sense. I didn't see him when I went to camp. Yeah, I mentioned that on Sunday when we talked about some stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe he'll latch on somewhere else. Maybe he's just done playing football. You know how it goes. Kind of like my Trey Quinn when Mr. Relevant was here.
Everyone loved
Trey Quinn. Yeah,
I hope we're all pulling for Dax Milne. So So he seems to be getting on here. I found out the reason why Stoner's not on here. Apparently, he owes Metaphor $1.
There he goes. Everybody dollars this week.
He's just avoiding it. He can't afford it. He's emptied out his 401k to pay everybody their debts there. So Trap Key wasn't the only one who was cut. There was someone who was put on IR. So not technically a cut, but Sammis Reyes, the experiment is on pause? Question mark?
Maybe. I was reading the article that Nikki brought out. There's 2 ways they could handle this, right? Something that happens within the week, they could bring him back later this season if he signs his injury settlement. But then if he doesn't, and they let him go, he can't come back, right, for the rest of the year.
So like the 2 options for Sammis Reyes, and they put another one person on IR there, is he can sign an injury settlement and then still play this year.
Yeah.
Or they just keep him stashed on injured reserve, but then he does not come back this season. there's no way he can play for any team.
Right.
So my guess is, just like Metaphor put out here, is they're shelving him till next year. They did this with Cam Sims a couple of years ago. They did this with a couple of other young players in their history. It's not too uncommon. They know that he's a project. I think that they've been happy with how that's progressing, but he's injured. So you got to make the cuts down to 85. There you go. He's on injured reserve.
Yeah.
What will be interesting, Trev, is like you said, if he signs that injury settlement, though, maybe he's not as injured as, the team wants him to be, to kind of stash him. But I think that he probably won't sign the injury settlement. But if he signs it, that means he thinks that he could probably catch on somewhere else. Which
I wouldn't do that.
It's a big risk. I mean, but he did have some stiff competition. I think a lot of people are happy. And we'll be talking a little bit more about some of those who didn't make the cut here now. Curtis Hodges, Armani Rogers, did make the cut. So they, those two look good in the action we've seen them. And you yourself was thinking one of those two would make the tight end, 4 spot over Sammis Reyes.
Mm-hmm. Armani Rogers is my guy who would probably do that. But then, because report today, Curtis Hodges was on the side field with other tight ends, John Bates and Cole Turner. So tight end position is dropping like flies right now.
Yeah. So you or I can just go back. Do you think AGG, Gandy Golden comes back out of retirement, says, "Oh, never mind, I can't make this."
Yeah, we'll get you a tutor. Just come play for us. We'll get you a tutor, no problem.
Yeah. Is there anybody else here? Well, we got Doug's comment. I'll say this: Apke still gets to say he played in the NFL for the rest of his life. He does, and he might still catch on somewhere. He might
come back for us.
He still has, he's still got speed, right? You can't teach speed.
The special team's ace.
And but there were just too little contributions here, and with that calf injury, I just think that he's probably done this year. He might make a comeback next year for somewhere.
Season.
A lot of people bringing up some of these players who left the team that have from cuts past. Steve Sims Jr. is balling out in Pittsburgh. Trey Quinn is in the Broncos camp. Mr. Irrelevant is there. Yep.
Okay.
So there's some people over there. Metaphor with the liking Gucci Rogers over Armani Rogers. I think the tight ends are still someone to watch. I do think Curtis Hodges now, if Armani Rogers is sidelined, you got to think Curtis Hodges has the inside track for that, but they're really thin after.
So thin.
Those two. Do you think that they're stashing Cole Turner away just to unleash him in the season, or do you think that there's some concern there with his injury?
I think that he's too, too prized of a possession to go ahead and throw out there his first year as a tight end for us. I mean, he said he's 100% ready to go, but they think that, they're just slowly bringing him on, being cautious about it so they won't, rush anything to be a disaster. So I like it. It's cool. It's preseason. Yeah, you like to see him get out there and see what he can do against the other competition and not against us. But at the same time, he's been showing what he can do in camp already. So we kind of have a sense, and we see how thin the position is. So go ahead and just rest him up for week 1, maybe week 2. Same with John Bates.
Yeah, a lot of people bring up the fact that Terry McLaurin was kind of sidelined in his preseason because they already knew what they had with him. So why expose him that way?
Exactly.
I'm kind of with Metaphor here. I want to see him get some actual game reps. I want to see him out there, but we'll see if that's the case or if this injury goes. So the other players released, cornerback Devontae Bosby and then guard Dion Calhoun. The two on injured reserve, of course, Sammis Reyes and then Alex Armah, the fullback, tight end flex kind of position there. Yeah. No one we're going to miss, right? Sammis Reyes, obviously my guy, but honestly, nothing to expect. Yeah, as Stoner in the chat here. Who?
Yeah,
exactly. These aren't going to be names that you're going to want. Is there anybody that you're surprised is still on the team?
At this point, to get to 85, nah, not really. I don't think. I mean,
not even Miracle Whip. You're
Well, he's gonna make the cuts. They signed him an extension this past offseason, so he's gonna at least make the cut to 85. Yep. Maybe even down to 80. But he should be one of those on the list. But and I guess Jarrett freaking Patterson. I guess he's my surprise.
Because EP, she did this to herself. She played herself. She said,
"Nah, he'll make it to
don't
the
say
80."
It, Trevor. She knew that.
Nah, other than that, I'm not. No, there's nobody else. I mean, the ones that got cut were the ones who probably least contributed the most at camp. So they probably just made it easy for themselves to make that cut to 85. So it is what it is. Trap key season. Love you, bro. But
time to move on. Milo is still on the team.
Yeah,
he made a very excited post about him making the first rounds of cuts. So we'll see if he continues to stay on with the team.
We'll
see. Lots going on there, to include some really good stuff that we're hearing from camp. All that's coming up on the game, as well as our preview for the Kansas City Chiefs. The game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 6 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running. All right, welcome back to the game. Again, it's just Trevor and I. Stoner is in the chat. If you're watching us live, be sure to check that out. Give us a comment, give us a like, and subscribe while you're at it. We are going to be talking the Commanders camp, some change in the guard, Trev. We saw a little bit of this in the preseason game against the Panthers. Brian Robinson getting some time with the ones. Now we're seeing that in camp. Gibson is on special teams. They had him doing some blocking and the punt drills and then receiving kicks. What do you make of that with the running back group? Trev, you're on mute, sir.
Thank you. It's getting spicy. It's getting spicy early too. I mean, it is what it is. I guess that's a message delivered to Antonio Gibson. Hey, you can't fumble the ball. Ball security is your number one job as a ball carrier, and you're not getting that job done. So why don't you go down to special teams and practice on some kick returns and see if you can hold on to those kind of balls. I mean, it's whatever. Apparently he did some of that in college too. He's pretty good at that. Punt returns, kick returns. So, and then they say Brian Robinson's doing the same thing as far as that. But it's just funny to see. You didn't hear about that in OTAs. You didn't hear about that much during the first days of training camp. Then after the game and his debacle, as some people like to say it. He's now on punt duty, kick return duty.
I think the kick return duty is great because Rivera's talked about how he was very disappointed with the returns. You have an explosive playmaker in Gibson. He's still very much a playmaker. Mm-hmm. Get the ball in his hands, right? The good teams will get their playmakers the ball in their hands. The punt blocking I thought was interesting, but what I think that they're doing is less about the punt blocking and more he whiffed, right? And pass blocking during the game. And so they're trying to get him some reps as much as possible, get used to blocking and getting in front of people. So that's what I feel like. Jared, he did have one. It looks like everyone's pointing that out to you. Thanks for joining us here in the chat. Gus Bus, I think Rivera may be making too much of a show on Gibson. Why didn't he have the cojones to sit Young last year and have him do special teams?
It's different.
Do you think it's too far, Trev?
Yeah, I mean, what he's doing to Gibson right now? Yeah. Too far? No, it's a message. It's a nice, polite way of saying, "Hey, you up? So here's what we're going to do, so you won't do that again." I think that's all it is. I don't think it's anything else other than that. And doing it to Chase Young, that's different. I mean, yeah, everybody on the position has a job to do. His is to get to the quarterback, but a running back touching the ball happens way more often than somebody getting to the quarterback on the defensive side. So that's why what he's doing to Gibson is way more important than what he would do to Chase Young. If that's the case, then every coach would discipline every defensive end that does not get a sack or a quarterback pressure. That happens every game.
I think there was a lot of that had with Sam Mills, right? We've talked about that when he was released, was that Sam Mills was coaching them to do things that I don't think were very good, and that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why he was let go. Like, it was just not,
just wasn't good.
Yeah, you got some studs on the outside, you got some studs in the center, and you just can never get to the quarterback. That's just,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense there. So I don't think, I don't think the situations are the same. I don't think Rivera's going too far. I do think, like I said, that he is trying to get the ball in the playmaker's hands. That's why we're seeing him in the return, and the blocking is to challenge Gibson to be a better pass blocker, because you want to see him out there on third downs. He and JD McKissick on third downs would be very exciting to see, but on those times where you want him to chip block or just straight up pass block, you need him to be able to hold his own. You need him to be Clinton Portis. Remember Clinton Portis? Straight up stonewalling people. Love to see that. And you wouldn't see that with with Gibson. Gus Bus asks, what's Gibby's trade value?
Oh, no, we're not doing that yet. Jonathan
Williams starts outperforming Gibby, and Williams is the more polished running back. I don't think that this is pursuable. This is Gibson's, near 3 of 4 that he has with this team. So
I'm not giving up on him.
I think that running backs tend to be a dime a dozen, and I think that people are giving up on him way too soon, Trev.
Yeah, way too soon. I mean, it's an issue. Don't get me wrong. It's something to pay attention to, but not nothing to go ahead and throw the deck of cards away with, or whatever that saying is, and just say, ship them away. Give them time. Now, if it's a problem after this entire season, then you can talk about it. But right now, it's too early to even talk about it. We're not trading him to no trade value. None of that. No way. He's all right.
Let's see if you're willing to take this bet right here. John says the good running back. We have ourselves a cat coming in. Kobe appearance. The good running back out of Alabama, I'll guarantee you he's going to get the most snaps.
Do
you think,
John? I'll put $1 on that. I think if Gibby fumbles one more time in the preseason or week 1, then I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. It's very possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Very possible of happening. I just don't know when that would happen and what would it take for that to happen. But it's very possible.
I think that it's probably more likely than we were thinking before camp started.
Yeah.
But I have to say that I'm on the side. I don't know that I'd put $1 down on it, but I think I might as far as that. But yeah, I think Gibson will still end up being the most productive back. How's that? Is that Nathan on the fence?
It is. It's
too much on the fence, but I think he's going to end up being the most productive back out of the 3. So we'll see. Shout out to Tommy T Toothpick in the chat. Appreciate everyone jumping in there. First string, stick with us here on that. We'll be talking about Terry being snubbed in the cool down. Right now on the game, we weren't just talking about Gibson perhaps taking a back seat to Brian Robinson. Let's talk about this second preseason game against the Chiefs. Reminder here, there are only the 3 preseason games. There's no longer 4. It used to be, that third preseason game was the dress rehearsal. Now you're really going to see it this time against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
How long, Trev, do you want those first stringers to play, whether or not that's Gibson or Brian Robinson? Carson Wentz is going to be back there. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. How long are they going to? How many snaps do you think they're going to see?
Give me a quarter. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. We got to see what we're made of against a high caliber team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid coaches them. Great coach right there. Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce. We know what they're capable of. They've won Super Bowls. It's in their house. I think an entire first quarter would be okay. Not a first half because you don't want to risk injury, of course, but entire first quarter to see if we can hang with the big dogs, because that's what we're trying to be. We're trying to be one of these big dogs and get to that level. So go ahead and give me a quarter.
Toothpick out in first string says, give him a half.
Half.
Metaphor with 1.5 quarters. Gus Bus, at least half for the starters. How about through the first offensive series of the second half? Wow. All the way into the second half?
Ooh,
I don't know about that. I
I
do feel pretty strongly about that first half. I do think that they should play a whole first half. I want to see them get into like the 2-minute drill, right? Whether or not, or if like a 4-minute drill to get some of that kind of hurry up offense, because this is really the last time we're going to see them play. Carson Wentz needs that time. I think there may be certain players like that you can sit, or if it's looking really bad for whatever reason, like if you're scared of injury, I can see kind of sitting a few players. But
I'm
really,
scared of injury.
You really need to see them, I think, for a full half, and then give Heineke a couple series, maybe just the third quarter, and then Howell for the fourth quarter. You're going to see Howell in that third preseason game, so I'm not too worried about that. But I want to see them, get some opportunities there. EP calling out our rookie wide receiver. A lot of people, she's not alone. She's not alone. Some people were very disappointed. Dotson, we've heard all about him being the best wide receiver. Logan Paulson said that, right? He's like the best wide receiver out here in training camp. Did not really do anything too special at the game this last week. Do you want to see something special from him this week, the second preseason game?
Yeah, I like to see him have a catch, but I mean, it's not like he's not ever going to get a catch. It's okay. He played 14 snaps in the first preseason game. There were probably plays that were designed for somebody else and not for him in that regard too. So maybe that's why he wasn't involved in any action. I mean, Terry had one catch. Curtis Samuel had one catch. He went to his tight ends most of the time. He dumped it off to his running back and he handed it off. So it's like, it is what it is. I mean, and Jahan Dotson said in his interview after practice today, he has to do a better job of getting open. Mm-hmm. That way, maybe he can receive a ball or two. But other than that, I don't think it's nothing to really worry about. If he's doing what he needs to do in training camp, he'll get his in the season. It's coming. Don't worry.
On defense, Benjamin St. Juste was a surprise no-show for last week. Do you want to see him healthy and on the field, or are you good with waiting? You do?
No, I do, because he was coming on last year, but then he got stopped because of concussion. So I want to see him do some game reps too, because he's been hurt all this preseason so far. He was hurt into the year last year, so it's time to get him up to game speed. And I think the preseason is the best chance to do that, because he is one of our top defensive backs so far that we have, or considered as one of them. So I want to see him out there and get some action for sure.
Kendall Fuller kind of had a so-so, maybe even someone would say a bad game. Are you looking for him to play a full first half, or what do you want to see from Kendall Fuller?
We've already seen enough. He makes plays and then he gets burnt. There's really nothing else to decipher from that. He's been here 2 times with us now. It's his second go around with us with the organization. So we've already seen it. Let him sit. Get some of these younger guys. Get some Christian Holmes in there, or some of these other guys, Stephen Parker, some burn. So sit him down. He's fine.
Stephen Parker was one of the candidates we had for our district diamond. Is there someone who's going to show out this upcoming game to unseat Sam Howell, who's the current district diamond so far?
I don't know. Maybe somebody on defense will shine. Maybe one of these receivers, these young receivers trying to make the squad, will shine. Maybe Jared Patterson will get a little bit of love. I know he made the 53 last year, so he's really kind of fighting for another spot again this year. It's not guaranteed so much. So, yeah, I guess just those two for me, pretty much. Maybe some more Percy Butler would be nice.
Yeah, metaphor bringing up Percy Butler. Maybe some time with the firsts.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see how he can get down with them. So I'm excited. The Chiefs they're gonna bring it. Even though it's preseason, they're gonna bring it. So we gotta see if we're able to hang with them or not.
Yeah, the definitely a higher pedigree there over in Kansas City than Carolina, so it will be interesting to see. Jamin Davis, Jared's asking about Jamin Davis here, who has been having a much better camp. Apparently this week he's been showing out. He had a fairly good preseason game. And this week at camp, he's been making plays left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy T says, I hope to see what I hear about Jamin in a real game, because you have heard, again, lots of sources have been saying Jamin's just been playing really well. You were talking about him being a bust, Trev.
Yeah. I'm with Tommy T. I want to see what I'm hearing about him in camp. JD McKissick said he looks like a totally different player. Stoner in the chat said multiple sources said Jamin had a great game against Carolina last week. So I want to see it in real life. I want to see what he's doing in camp translate to the actual game tape. So I'm happy with what I'm hearing out of camp. It's better than what we heard this time last year coming out of camp. Way better, night and day. But now let's just see if it translates to the game speed, which so far it has, apparently. But I'm not quite sold on it yet. But he's not a bust. He's not a bust. I'll take the bust away from that.
You'll take that away from him. That's good, because I said it was too early, right? And
way too early.
It looks like it is there. Thanks, Michelle, for jumping in here. EP is talking about the Chiefs normally play their first string for too long. Or she doesn't think that they normally play them for too long. Do you think that we're going to see the Chiefs starters a little bit more than we would used to, because they also have a young team?
Yeah, I think so. No Tyreek Hill. I got to see how that receiving core is going to be with Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster to see where their chemistry is at. I see them playing maybe a whole half. You never know. How much did they play last week? Does anybody know?
I wasn't following Kansas City, so it will be interesting to see. I did hear about some of there's some talk about how you mentioned not having Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of their sets were looking a lot different than what you would have seen with Tyreek Hill. That could just be Andy Reid being Andy Reid. He is very much an offensive-minded coach, and he can switch it up. And I think Patrick Mahomes is a good quarterback without Tyreek Hill. But they were running a lot of kind of more heavy sets. They had a fullback out there, right? They were playing a lot more tight ends. It was a very different Kansas City offense than what you have seen with Tyreek Hill on the field. So I do think you will probably see a little bit more of them. I said this last week. I'm going to say it again now.
Okay.
You don't let somebody else dictate, though, how long you play your starters. Just because they keep their ones out into the second half doesn't mean you keep your ones out there. You put out your twos. You want to challenge your twos, right? You want to challenge your threes. So you dictate your play. Let them come off of here. Stoner's saying Chiefs first team played offense one series. So we'll see if they change that here for the second game. Is there something you want to see more of from this second game that you didn't see in the first game, Trevor?
I want to see some more shots downfield. I want to see Carson throw the ball downfield a little bit more. I want to see the playbook open up just a little bit more. Don't give away everything, but throw a gadget play in there or throw a couple bombs in there, play action here and there, spicing up just a little bit to see what our offense is capable of doing rather than just the check down game in the ground and pound, which is nice, but let's see what else we can do. We have all these versatile playmakers on offense, so let's put them to the test. I want to see some more De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, Gus Bus with you on that one. Shots to De'Ami Brown downfield. Yeah, let us know in the chat. What do you want? What do you want to see that was different? Because you're right. These shots downfield did not happen all that often last week against the Panthers.
No.
But I thought we were happy with that, right? Because that was one of the things that Carson Wentz was being knocked about, was the fact that he wasn't taking those layups. He wasn't taking those easy passes. We got to see him actually work on those. You're saying open it up this time? Let it loose?
Just a little bit. Let it loose, just to see. I mean, we got him back there. He's got a cannon. Let's show it. Let's see what it looks like in game speed. Just a little bit. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Not the playbook, but a bomb here or two there. That's deep post, whatever.
Doug is saying
no more slow starts.
Yeah,
get a first down.
3 and out. Yeah, just
get a first down.
Move the ball. Move the ball. Metaphor wants to see a 55-yard field goal from Joey the Leg Sly. Tommy P says one series and then get out safe. Knock on some wood. Doug also wants to see some intensity from the very start of the game. That goes.
We came out flat.
The thing here.
I mean, we got new uniforms. Come out with some swag and be ready. Like
those whites look so sharp, and then you go 3 and out. It was rough. Grayson, does no Sam Mills make a difference?
Oh, that would be.
I would say that they were getting after the quarterbacks, I think, fairly well.
They were.
Where we were kind of seeing some of the breakdowns were, not surprisingly, in that linebacker, right? Especially in the passing game.
Yeah.
So I do want to see them, continue being aggressive.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with there, but it's going to be interesting. What I want to see is kind of what some of our commenters are talking about here, which is not starting off slow, and it's not just about getting a first down for me. It's not about just a sustained drive. And I'm sorry, I don't want to see a 55-yard field goal. I want to see points on the board. This has been a horrendous scoring team for the last 3 to 4 years. I want to see points on the board, Trev.
Yeah,
I want to win. I want to win games scoring 30 points.
Yeah,
that's can we just do that? Can we manage that?
Please.
That's what I would like to see.
I mean, we got the weaponry for it, so let's just do it.
Stoner is asking for a first team D to force a punt.
That would be lovely. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the first team D, there was a lot of bend don't break.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're good enough to do that consistently.
Yeah, you don't want to do that consistently either. You want to stop them at least 1 or 2 games, you know what I mean? But because their first downs came on third downs, 3rd and long, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. We did have to do first and second down, but when third down come, it was like, never mind. We'll see you again on first down next series. It's just really bad.
We talked about this last week because I was at the game. It's hard to get motivated on a 3rd down and 5 or 4 as a fan. Like they're trying to pump you up, but you just know that they're going to convert it, and it's consistently. And John talking about being worried about Jack Del Rio's defense. I do think that's a problem, and so it would be nice to get some stops. Maybe not. It doesn't necessarily have to be getting after the quarterback, right? It doesn't have to be an interception or a fumble, but just play some solid defense and make them punt the ball.
It'd be nice, but
Grayson coming after our return game here. Kick returners to either knee or take it past the 25. Amen. If you're 9 yards back in the end zone,
stay in there.
Knee. Just put the ball on the ground. Let it go past you.
Stay.
We'll see what we do here. Metaphor, new mantra: bend in the first and second, break on third down. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. John wants Jamin Davis to play consistent, and Jared is asking, why aren't we talking about Sam Howell? I know he's not going to start the season. I know, but Stoner was recently talking about it causing a controversy. That's Stoner.
It's just him.
That's just him. He didn't want to draft a quarterback. He thought it was pointless to draft a quarterback. Yeah, he's playing the violin. Trevor's playing the violin. He was very sad about that. Sam Howell will probably just play the 4th quarter. That's what I think that's going to happen here for Sam Howell this game. Do you see that going any different, Trev?
No, I definitely see it in the 4th quarter, maybe the whole second half. That'd be nice, but mainly all 4th quarter. Taylor, it's probably going to go first half for the starters, Taylor the 3rd, and Sam Howell the 4th. That'd be fine with me. But I kind of want to see it with the 2s a little bit. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing him come in the 3rd quarter a little bit and carry on to the 4th quarter.
Because we all know after his performance last week, I think a lot of people want to see that. And a lot of people are kind of starting to sour on Taylor Heineke because of the new shiny toys in town.
Exactly. And we love the new shiny toy. So yeah, I would like to see that, him run with the 2s a little bit. Kind of maybe him and Taylor kind of reverse the roles. Maybe he plays 3rd quarter with the 2s and have Taylor run with the rest of the scrubs in the 4th quarter. So that'd be nice to see, because we already saw Sam could do it in the 4th with the scrubs. So now let's see if we can do it with
I think people would go absolutely nuts if that's the case. Especially,
it's preseason. Why not?
Especially if Sam Howell plays out, then if he plays with the twos and does well, I think that the Howlers are going to be even more.
I'll be there.
Even more loud than the Heineke Hive was before. Sure. I don't know. I don't think he's gotten to that point. I think that he's going to end up playing probably all of next week. So this week, just play him in the fourth, get some more experience, see if he can work on some of that passing, because he wasn't actually all that accurate. I think he only completed 56% of his passes, did most of his damage running the ball, which is not necessarily a problem, but you do want to see some more of that arm that he has, because he does have a strong arm. Kurt Smith is a bona fide howler.
Me too, Kurt. Me too.
You're in good company. Metaphor says that's why our mascot's gonna be a dog, so he can howl.
That'd be cool.
We'll see, and we'll talk about that here in the cool down, which we'll be transitioning to, and we'll be talking about Terry McLaurin being snubbed in top 100 mascot talk. And Terry McLaurin coming up here in the cool down. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us here. The mascots have been, or categories, not necessarily the actual mascots, but we got a hog, a dog, a superhero, and what was the last one? Why am I, because it's going to be either a hog or a dog. Like, it's going to be one of those two. That's the thing there. If you can think of what the fourth one was, remind me of the thing there. Yes, Metaphor, I appreciate your transition into the cool down here. I don't care what this is. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. Kind of like what I was at the name. It's just a thing.
Historical figure.
Historical. What are we going to do? Put George Washington out
there? I know, right?
What is this?
Put Patton up there. Like, what
is this?
Oh man,
This is no thanks. So I think superhero would be kind of a neat one, I guess. Dog would probably be my second choice. Hog's my third one.
Oh,
it beats out historical figure, because good Lord, I'm not putting Alexander Hamilton out on my freaking mascot here. No, the reason why hog is actually last, and I've heard other people say this, so I'm not unique in this, but part of the rebrand is, like, we have a lot of ties back to the past, right? We're still burgundy and gold. The song has kind of changed, but there's still some remnants of it there, and I think that as things go on, you'll probably see it kind of become a little bit more like Hail to the Redskins. The hogs were legendary for us in our franchise. Let's leave them as legends and not make a cartoon pig.
Oh, really?
That's my take. Really? You got any? Yep. I'm also again, I'm active duty Air Force. I'm not a fan of the K9 either, for the record, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a military working dog, and it's just like, oh, okay. All right, we can drop the camo anytime now. So we'll see.
I like the hog. I mean, it's paying honor and tribute to our legendary offensive line, like you said, the Hogs. It was a name consideration at one point. I liked it to be called the Washington Hogs if we had a choice for that. Just make it the Hog. No, I mean, it just represents our history still, and that's what we want to do with this rebrand. We still want to kind of pay homage to that. So I'm with you, Stoner. It's going to be a hog. I bet $1 it's a hog.
Yeah, it's the safe. I think it's a safe bet that it's going to be hog. I think a lot of people are going to vote for the hog because it's the tie to the team.
I saw a tweet where somebody said, make it the hog and make the hog's face the new helmet logo and get rid of that awful W. George Carmi retweeted and was like, this is absolutely something I don't want to happen. No. And I agree with him. Don't put the mascot anywhere on the uniform. Don't do it. You can maybe put the little logo in the end zone to be cool if you want. Other than that, just keep it as a logo for whatever, but don't put it anywhere on the uniform. Please do not. Please do not put it on the uniform.
Let it just be something that, you know, the W looks so clean. Speaking of
W,
Tommy T has that clean W in there. He says make male and female. This is actually something they did with the Mets, right? The baseballs, the Miss Met and Mr. Met.
Maybe they do. Maybe
it's very possible that you can see
cool.
You know, a 1 and 2 type thing for that. We got Metaphor with Sergeant Swine.
There you go, Meta. I like that. I like that.
Gus Bus George W. Bush as our mascot.
W.
Just going on the male female thing. Porky Pig and Miss Piggy.
There you go.
I think so. This, a lot of people were talking about like Red Tails is the name, and you can't go with that. We had Tim on, and he was just like, you know, he talking about how people are going to make fun of that. I think you're going to get a lot of bacon jokes if for
sure,
and barbecue.
Kendall Fuller gets cooked like bacon every day, so I mean it is what it is.
So I don't think a hog. I agree with Stoner, and I think we got a bet here with EP. She thinks it's going to be a dog. I will say this about the dog crew. We're going to get to that Terry talk here in just like 30 seconds. The dog crew, the Red Wolves and Wolves people, the people who wanted the name to be that, are still very, very loud. And don't be surprised if they push for the dog because they lost out on the Wolves, right? They lost out on the Red Wolves. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something that they'll see to get their person there. All right, let's get to what everyone actually wants to talk about and get mad about, which is Terry McLaurin being snubbed on the NFL 100. Washington only had one player, and that was, of course, Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
But that meant that Terry McLaurin, who was just paid big money, and some people think as a top 10 wide receiver, not on the list, Trev. What's up with that?
I mean, it's his peers, right? His peers do the voting, don't they?
This is true.
I guess if he didn't have any eye-popping gameplay or eye-popping stats, then great guy. We love you, Terry. But
what do you mean he didn't have?
No, to us,
he
definitely did. But to his peers, it might not mean that much to them. I mean, 1,000 yards with 8 different quarterbacks is remarkable. Captain as a rookie, incredible catches. He barely drops the ball. Great receiver 1 on our team, but also we're the Washington Commanders. We don't win a lot of games. We don't make a lot of noise. We don't score a lot of points. He's
made some amazing catches.
He has.
There's the catch against Tampa Bay. There's the catch against the Chargers.
I know.
He's got a lot of those highlight catches,
but also he doesn't at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that he just hasn't had that, that explosive year that you see from like Cooper Kupp or Jefferson out of Minnesota. So, that there's that. I mean, you're talking Jonathan Allen's only 88, and he's probably one of the top, 4 defensive. That's what I'm saying.
Tackles. This list is
trash.
Mac Jones is what, 85? Did I see that?
Yeah, Mac Jones is 85.
Yeah, so there you go. That's all you need to say why Terry got snubbed. Mac Jones is 85. That's all you need to know. Mac
Jones is 85. I love Justin Tucker. I know that we're not allowed to really like our team, the team up north.
He's got a leg, bro.
But Justin Tucker's the dude sings opera, for goodness sake. He's 94. So you're telling me a kicker is a better player than Terry McLaurin? CeeDee Lamb? Get out of here.
Come on. Yeah,
get out of here.
That's trash.
No, they have Kyle Pitts on this list. The Jimmy
Kyle
Ward.
Pitts?
Yeah, Kyle Pitts is on the list. This is I've not been a big fan of the NFL Top 100. I was a big detractor. People didn't really, weren't too mad with it last year. But I called it a trash last year. You had the rookie running back from the Jaguars listed at 100.
Travis Etienne or something like that?
No, it was Robinson.
Oh, Michael Robinson. Yeah,
was listed at 100. I was like, he's second year. You can't
one good game, and he's like,
I was just like, no, it is not not the case here. Metaphor calling it out here, though. He was like, poll was in the spring, so Terry didn't have the paycheck yet. They didn't notice. Next year, though, that could be true.
It could be. Well, DK didn't have the paycheck either, and he was on there.
Gus.
Sorry, Meta, but like I'm just saying.
Gus Bus. What is this? Gus Bus says, I'd rather have Mac Jones than Terry McLaurin. If you were in chat with us,
you better be trolling right now.
We dump Stoner all the time. Yeah, Beltway rivals can't really cheer them on. But come on, Mac Jones.
Really,
you'd rather have Mac Jones over Terry McLaurin?
Nah, I would not rather have Mac Jones over
Gus
anybody.
Bus, you make so much sense in the chat. I just don't know what to do with this one.
Are you hacked? Did somebody hack you, Gus Bus? Because that's not something you would say.
Where would you put Terry in this top 100?
80 or low.
Lower than 80, so better than Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, right in that same area. Between 80 and 90, I would put Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
So Jonathan Allen, I agree with Natty on this, our friend from the DMV Sports Zone. Jonathan Allen's our best player. Okay. Terry McLaurin's great. Love me some Terry.
Right.
But Jonathan Allen is our best player. Like he legit is top 4 as in his position. And you can't really say that for anybody else on this team. So
that's
So I just feel like he should be there. Metaphor with that 17. I mean, he needs to be on the list. Metaphor.
Yeah.
Gus Bus, Mac Jones. Mac Jones does play QB, but if you're telling me like which is the better player, Terry
McLaurin, hands down.
And he did play. Yeah, Grayson calling him out. That's a skip take.
Yeah, it is.
OBJ is on the list.
Well,
I think part of that is one, historically he's just been a good player, and he did ball out. Those last few games for the Rams. So
before
I think
injury for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are remembering that. Scott is saying our franchise gets no respect, and Terry paid for it. I think they all pay for it. I think this is historically, like you were talking about, Trev. People do not pay Washington any mind, and if they're they're not making any.
We don't win the game. Yeah, we don't care.
It's hard to see there. Are there any other players that you would put in the top 100 other than those two
from our squad?
Yeah. Reminder: they have a fullback at 100, so there's definitely
Carson Wentz.
Some people that you would put Carson Wentz in there.
I would. I would.
That's
100. 100.
100. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Carson?
Gus Bus putting in Wes. Terry is a top 50 player minimum from Kurt.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. Is Jalen Hurts on the list?
Not yet, I don't think.
Okay.
At least I didn't hear noise from him. Philadelphia fans would be absolutely annoying if he's there.
You mean more annoying is what you meant to say.
Yeah. That's absolutely fair. I saw the other day to kind of small detour here. Jalen Hurts has the same odds of being the MVP this year as the quarterback up north, our Beltway rivals.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
Why?
How? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I heard talk at camp when I was at camp with Stoner. Yeah. There were some young gentlemen talking about Jalen Hurts for MVP this year, and they were serious.
Please stop.
They were serious, and I literally turned around and was like, "Am I hearing this?" Like, I was just like, "Oh my goodness,
that's cute."
Yeah, it's crazy. Is it crazy to say if there's a fullback from Grayson on there as far as Carson Wentz on the top 100? I guess maybe not, because there is a fullback in there. There's a kicker in there. It's going to be someone. Tressway is my man. He's my next jersey.
Uber!
But I have to say he's had a disappointing season last year, and so hopefully he can come back. But we'll see. Doug Hurts does have 2 bigger wide receivers now with Devontae Smith, with AJ Brown. We'll see if he can get them the ball.
Yeah,
that's going to be the
get
thing.
The ball first.
We will absolutely see. We do appreciate everyone jumping in, and we Stoner had to step out. He was in the chat earlier. We appreciate him jumping on. We appreciate you jumping on. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back. And we'll be back with Stoner, later. And we will have our day after reckoning the day after Washington plays against the Chiefs. Until next time.
What?
Be a fan.